Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Matt O'Donnell, Tamala Edwards, Karen Rogers, and meteorologist David Murphy.
Good morning, 5 a.m. on this Friday, August 26th, and here's what's happening.
Hurricane Irene is set to slam into the East Coast, not once, but possibly 4 times. People along the shoreline are not taking any chances. The storm continues to barrel north, packing winds and rains that could bring heavy damage and flooding.
And the exodus has already begun. Mandatory evacuations along the Jersey Shore go into effect this morning.
We'll have complete coverage throughout the morning. David Murphy is off. Karen Rogers is here live at the big board with the AccuWeather forecast and the latest track on Irene. Karen?
That's right. And right now we are looking at tropical storm watches in the area, hurricane watches in our area as well for Center City and the surrounding area. So we continue to watch this as we expect hurricane force winds within the next 48 hours. Let's take a look at the current stats right now. Moving at 110 miles an hour. This is updating as we speak, as the National Hurricane Center is just giving us an update now, and our graphics reflect that live on the air. So a few minutes I talked to you and it was 115. So it has dropped in its wind speed by just 5 miles an hour here. But moving to the north at 14 miles an hour, 460 miles south-southwest of Cape Hatteras. So it is moving right now out of the northwestern Bahamas, currently dropped to a Category 2 with that's just 5 mile an hour wind shift here. Still a major hurricane and expected to be a Cat 2 as it continues to go over the open waters here and approach North Carolina on Saturday. By Saturday at 2 a.m. we're looking at it possibly being a Category 3 as it then crosses over just west of the Outer Banks. So this is really an update for us and watching it continue to go right along our coastline. So we need to prepare and prepare fully now. You need to move away from flooded areas. Make sure you have flashlights, batteries, bottled water, dry food. The reason for that is we could expect massive power outages due to the saturated ground and the heavy rainfall on the way. More on this coming up in the AccuWeather forecast in just a couple minutes, Matt.
Wow, Karen, what a week it's been and what a weekend it will be. Good morning to you. Of course, we are seeing a lot of people headed away from the shore already this morning. We don't have jams. It's only 5 o'clock at this point, but we do have heavier than normal traffic on the major arteries like the Garden State Parkway northbound and the AC Expressway westbound. Starting at 8 this morning, tolls will be lifted on the Garden State Parkway south of Raritan and on the AC Expressway. Also, the Ocean Drive bridges will not have tolls after 8 o'clock this morning. Last evening, we also saw heavy traffic on 83 and 47. I have a feeling that those two, along with 347, will be busy throughout the day today. Meanwhile, back here in the city, along the Schuylkill by South Street, things are dry at this point and the traffic is moving along just fine. But in Horsham Township, there's a crash and downed tree and wires closing Limekiln Pike this morning near Babylon Road. Maybe stick with Horsham Road or Welsh Road as alternates. Matt?
Thank you, Matt. Hurricane watches now extend all the way to the Jersey Shore, where officials are telling visitors to get out now. PSE&G, PECO, and other utilities are bracing for 100-mile-an-hour winds that have the potential to knock out power to millions. First on Irene's list of targets along the U.S. East Coast, North Carolina, which is already seeing heightened waves. Irene could pack 150-mile-an-hour winds when it will strike North Carolina, or at least expected to, somewhere along the Outer Banks tomorrow night. 140,000 tourists are fleeing the area. Officials have ordered a mandatory evacuation there, and they're warning all residents to get to the mainland now. They say anyone who stays cannot count on emergency personnel to help them. Gas stations in the area are running out of gas. ATMs are short on cash. And this woman, Melissa Cook, may have to cancel her wedding.
The TV showed the mandatory evacuation and I burst into tears.
So everything is up in the air.
Everything. I mean, everything from a caterer to a cake, all these details I'd been working on in this wedding I had planned and dreamed about.
Irene has already battered the Bahamas, a last stop before heading to the East Coast. It pummeled the resort islands with 150-mile-an-hour winds. That's 115. The hurricane knocked down trees, sank boats, damaged buildings. A number of cruise ships have already steamed their way out of that area to safe harbors in Florida.
Both public officials and emergency management personnel have issued a no-nonsense warning ahead of Hurricane Irene. Both New Jersey and Delaware are under states of emergency. In Delaware, Governor Jack Markell is telling visitors to all coastal areas to evacuate immediately. In Atlantic County, a mandatory evacuation order begins at 6 a.m. for barrier islands and the mainland communities east of Route 9. And in Cape May County, a mandatory evacuation order begins at 8 a.m. And that is where we find our Chad Perdelli. He is live there in Cape May with more. Chad, do you see people already sort of packing the car, getting ready?
Absolutely, Tamala. Right now, conditions pretty normal here on the tip of Cape May. We have a light breeze. You can see the waves behind me, not too menacing, but officials warn conditions are going to get ugly, and they're going to get ugly fast. Again, mandatory evacuations begin here in Cape May County at 8 a.m. Last night, we saw a steady stream of vehicles on the Garden State Parkway making their way inland. They boarded up their houses, they packed up, and they got out. Officials say when this evacuation is over, 1.2 million people could be involved up and down the shore. Record high tides are expected. The barrier islands will likely be underwater when this is over. The warning here, people need to leave or the consequences could be dire. Emergency personnel will not be able to get to you if you try to ride this thing out.
People should not let their guard down by any means. We have never experienced a landfalling hurricane. This is not going to go out to sea. This one is going to impact our area significantly. We are going to have some significant damage done to our area.
And like Matt talked about, gasoline has been scarce. We saw 2 gas stations last night on 9th Street in Ocean City that ran out of gas. People were waiting in line until tankers could make their way there and fill up. So if you're going to be heading out and you can get gasoline, get it, because there has been a surge in demand, and if you go to a gas station, they may be out. So really some dire consequences could be ahead. And again, officials are warning people. We hear, they always prepare for the worst, but they want people to know that they need to leave and that these mandatory evacuations are real and people need to heed their advice. I'm live in Cape May. Chad Perdelli, Channel 6 Action News. Back to you guys.
Chad, thank you for that. It's almost 5:07 and the city of Philadelphia is also preparing for Irene. The storm is shaping up to be the worst the city has seen in 50 years. Because of that, Mayor Michael Nutter is advising all residents to be ready, especially those living in flood-prone areas.
If an evacuation order is given, please adhere to it. Leave quickly and as safely as possible. Don't wait for the flood water to rise. When that starts to happen, it is actually almost too late. Call 311.
Mayor Nutter will decide later today if he will declare a severe weather emergency. If that happens, shelters will be set up for residents. As well, SEPTA officials are also making plans to keep lines running as long as they possibly can. And they're getting ready for flooding in Manayunk. Sandbags have arrived at the Manayunk Brewery. Employees also pulled up the floating dock and brought in those dragon boats.
You can track Hurricane Irene's progress up the eastern seaboard right from your computer. Just head to 6abc.com and click on our revamped Hurricane Tracker. If your power gets knocked out, but you still get a cell signal, make sure you access 6abc.com through our smartphone and iPad apps. They will have the latest updates on Hurricane Irene, plus you can use Storm Tracker 6 to see where the rain bands are and where they are going. You can find our apps in the iTunes and Android stores. There is also a link right now at 6abc.com.
And it's time now to turn to meteorologist Karen Rogers, who of course has been tracking all of this and has the best sense of what we can expect.
So just within the past 5 minutes, we've seen just a little bit of a change. The wind speed have dropped from 115 to 110. You think, well, not much, but that's enough to make it now a Category 2 hurricane instead of a Category 3. However, it is still expected to become a Category 3. So we're going to see that tiny wobbling in strength doesn't significantly change the forecast for us. Let's take a look right now at Storm Tracker 6 live radar, where we are dry right now in the region. Now, you might see a shower today. That's going to have nothing to do with Irene, but a front that has stalled near our area and certainly some tropical moisture that's out there. But Irene doesn't really impact us until Saturday into Sunday. Hurricane Irene, now winds sustained at 110 miles an hour, but we are seeing higher gusts. This does make it a Category 2. If it were 111, it'd be Category 3. So you get the idea. It's just about a Category 3 here. It has made that movement, though, to the north. So it is moving from northwestern Bahamas, now going directly to the north right here at 14 miles an hour. So watching this powerful hurricane very closely, because it is expected to increase just a little bit of strength as it goes over the open water. So it may still be a Category 3 at 2 a.m. Saturday when it approaches North Carolina. And we can see that it's going to be going just west there of the Outer Banks and maintaining its strength even through that as a Category 3 at this point as it faces Delaware and Cape May. From that point, you might be able to notice that just within the past 5 minutes, the update has this shifted just a bit to the east. So it looks just a little bit more scraping by our coastline. But they always say you have to watch this cone. Not the exact track, but anywhere within this cone is the danger zone. And you see that the entire region, including Philadelphia, within that danger zone. So as we watch Irene's track, it now looks like it may skirt just to the coastline right here, but we'll have to keep watching that. I think it's wobbling track to the east or to the west doesn't really change the main forecast for us. That I-95 and the northwestern suburbs, not just along the coast, but the suburbs here, 5 to 10 inches of rain. That's going to cause serious flooding, 50 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Eastern New Jersey along the coastline, you're still looking at a significant amount of rain and coastal flooding, and 70 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts possible. There's a flood watch for the entire region because we expect widespread major flooding because of Irene, but also because we just had the wettest month officially on record. The ground is saturated. The power lines are coming down. When you look at the future tracker winds, you can kind of see why here. Saturday at 10:30, we can expect winds in Philadelphia, maybe to be 20 to 30 miles an hour. But watch as we push this in. Just about the entire region, 50+ mile an hour winds. This chart only goes up to 50. We're going to be seeing some areas with higher gusts than that. So today, partly sunny skies, a day to prepare. Pretty quiet, humid, chance for a shower, thunderstorm popping up, 87. Saturday, that rain develops. It may start pretty early, but I think that the real rain, the heavier stuff, is going to come later in the day, Saturday into Saturday night. By Saturday night into Sunday, that's when we feel Irene's main effects, with flooding rains and damaging winds, high about 78. Monday, sunny and breezy. It's quiet. It's a day to clean up. 80 degrees for your high. Tuesday, sunny and warm and 86. Wednesday, sunshine and 84. Thursday, partly sunny skies and 80 degrees. We advise everyone to stay tuned to the forecast, and really, I can't emphasize enough, just be prepared for some long-term power outages no matter where you live. So get ready for that.
Okay. Good advice. It's 5:12, and there's still much more to come here on Action News. Next up, we have some important information for students scheduled to move into college dorms this weekend.
And we have live pictures along the Jersey Shore. This is in Atlantic City, where everyone in this community needs to leave in less than an hour. In fact, if you live east of Route 9 in Atlantic County, you got to get out by 6 a.m. Matt still drunk
by Baltimore Pike in Delaware County, but elsewhere in Delaware County there was a fire at a restaurant overnight, giving us a road closure. We'll talk about some good news in Montgomery County after the break.
Good news. All right. Well,
news.
We'll try and lighten things up with some Eagles highlights. They had a pretty good effort last night. Saw right here on 6 ABC. We'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. It is 5:14, and North Carolina is several hours away from what looks to be a direct hit from Hurricane Irene. This is a live picture along the beach in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, which is right at the bottom of the Outer Banks, just west of Cape Hatteras. This storm is expected to hit possibly as a 2 or a 3. Heavy damage expected there. And then what's next? Well, looks like we're going to get hit too.
Well, we'll keep talking about that in just a moment. But first up, we want to switch over to Matt Pellman. Take a look at where things stand in your traffic right now. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning to you, Tim. Matt, it is Friday, but as you head out on this Friday morning, we are already watching a few traffic issues. One of them here in Horsham Township, Montgomery County. Limekiln Pike is shut down this morning for a short stretch between Babylon Road and Tennis Avenue. There was an overnight multi-vehicle crash. As a result, a downed tree and some downed wires now. So you have to think alternates around Limekiln Pike. You could stay over on 611 611 maybe, or even use Horsham Road right there or Welsh Road as alternates to Limekiln Pike 152 this morning. Meanwhile, out on the main line in Wayne, there was a fire overnight at the Chili's restaurant right there by Manila's Diner. And as a result, Lancaster Avenue, Route 30 is shut down. That's close to Bloomingdale Avenue. So you might want to stay to the south on Conestoga Road to get around that closure this morning. Sounds like it could be there for a little bit. But now here's a little bit of better news for those of you that travel between Montgomery County and Chester County, between Royersford and Spring City. Wow, it's been a pain the last 6 weeks being without the Main Street Bridge, hasn't it? It reopens this afternoon. So still this morning, you're using alternates, but by this afternoon, that Main Street Bridge should be back in business. But new restrictions begin today on the Walt Whitman Bridge. In fact, they began already at 5 o'clock. Eastbound side, we're down a lane for about 5 months. Normally that would affect us with shore traffic, Tam, but this afternoon, I don't think a lot of people are going to be headed down the shore.
I don't think so either. And Irene is changing move-in plans for a lot of local universities and colleges. For Temple, upperclassmen will move in this morning at 8 instead of on Sunday. For Haverford College, it's also having students move in early, beginning this morning at 9. At Rowan University, freshmen will report a schedule tomorrow, but upperclassmen have been scheduled to move on Sunday. They will now do that on Monday. The University of Delaware is postponing its move-in this weekend until further notice.
Hurricane Irene is also having an impact on the Phillies. They have moved up Sunday's game with the Marlins. They will play it tomorrow as part of a day-night doubleheader. The 3-game series with Florida begins tonight at Citizens Bank Park. Now, Eagles fans should feel a little better this morning about the team. Running back Ronnie Brown looked pretty good, scoring the first touchdown against the Browns last night. Quarterback Michael Vick got hit a lot, but still managed to run in for a touchdown in the second quarter. The first team defense did not give up any points in this third preseason contest. In fact, the Eagles were up 17-0 at the half. The Birds win at the Link, 24-14. Sunday's Philadelphia Union game against the Revolution at PPL Park in Chester has been postponed due to Hurricane Irene. It will be played on September 7th at 8 p.m.
5:17 now, and passengers who need to change travel plans because of Hurricane Irene, they're getting a little bit of a break.
Plus, they're not getting cold feet. They are worried about wet feet. We catch up with a local couple whose wedding is getting washed out by Irene. Karen.
We continue to track Hurricane Irene. Look at the latest stats. The wind sustained at 110 miles an hour. This is a massive storm. Details next.
Welcome back. You're taking a live look here. This is Cape May, New Jersey, where at 8 o'clock this morning they're going to begin a mandatory evacuations. Everyone will need to move inland. This is going to actually go on even sooner in Atlantic County, all the areas east of Route 9 being asked to evacuate as of 6 a.m. Karen just talked about the storm downgrading a little bit to a Cat 2, but again, you say it could build.
You know, downgraded to a Cat 2, but the central pressure is so low, it would be a Cat 4. It's a confusing storm. The reason it's downgraded is just that it's so massive.
Doesn't mean anything,
the winds
really.
Have changed.
It's still dangerous.
In fact, I've got an update I'm going to talk about in just a second, and you'll see how serious it is.
And the bottom line is get out now while you can before it strikes. And as a result of that, the roads are going to be busy this morning, headed away from the shore points. But here on our good buddy Ben, the Ben Franklin Bridge, things look fine right now. A couple minutes ago, we talked about that new eastbound Walt Whitman Bridge work that starts today. For the next 5 months, the Ben eastbound is going to be a better bet, at least for the most part. Let's talk about mass transit now. If you're taking a train to the south, pretty much all Amtrak service south of D.C. is canceled this morning. And of course, Karen, that's all because of Irene.
I just got an update a minute ago from the National Weather Service. I want to bring it to you right away. Ignore the tropical storm watch. I'm still preparing this graphic, but I wanted to show you this because now our entire region, including Philadelphia, hurricane warning now in effect. Saturday and Sunday. So although we're saying, well, it's not exactly a Cat 3 now, we now have a hurricane warning. So you get the idea that a powerful hurricane that's going to have major impacts is headed in our area. A warning means we will experience those hurricane winds shortly. Now we're looking at winds at 110 miles an hour now with Hurricane Irene. It'll be Saturday into Sunday that we feel the brunt of this. It's moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. As we watch the track, there is just a slight change within the past 15 minutes. It has it as a Category 3 hurricane by the time it's facing us, but it now looks like it might just scrape right by us. Doesn't have that much of a difference in significance for us. We're talking flooding problems and destructive winds, Tam.
Okay, thank you, Karen. The Red Cross is urging blood donations now before Hurricane Irene hits. The storm could affect blood collections along the East Coast at a time when the nation's blood supply is already low. The Red Cross is calling on those who can donate to do so today. You can find a Red Cross blood drive near you by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or going to the Red Cross website at www.redcrossblood.org.
Aside from Hurricane Irene and its possible economic impact, investors will be watching closely to see what comes from the Federal Reserve Chairman's lips today. ABC's Tanya Rivero has more in America's Money.
Good morning. Topping America's Money, waiting for Bernanke. The markets this week have been cautious ahead of Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke's speech today at a conference in Wyoming. Investors have been speculating whether he will announce any monetary stimulus measures. And Warren Buffett is bullish on the Bank of America. He's investing $5 billion in the financial giant, which he says is a, quote, strong, well-led company. Maybe that will change investors' minds. BOA shares have lost half their value in the past year. Hurricane Irene is likely to force the airlines to cancel hundreds of flights and create delays across the country. However, most airlines are waiving the fees to change flights for passengers affected. And if you drive a Cadillac Escalade, congratulations. Car thieves think you have good taste. The insurance industry says it is the most stolen vehicle in the last 3 years. And that's America's Money. I'm Tanya Rivero.
A Philadelphia couple's weekend wedding is being washed out by Hurricane Irene. Action News caught up with the bride-to-be, Danielle Castro, and her fiancé, Chris Duffner, at their Mayfair home last night. They had scheduled their wedding and reception for this weekend in Ocean City. Irene's track has forced them to cancel.
We have been planning this for over a year, and really wanted to have this date because it was the end of the summer. Wanted to go out with a bang, and now we go out with a hurricane.
There is good news about this, though. The couple's wedding venue refunded their money, and you saw they even gave them some wedding cake to enjoy. The pair says they are hoping a justice of the peace can marry them in the next few days.
We wish them all the best after all of this. It's 5:27 and still to come here on Action News. Let's show you a live picture here. This is Atlantic City. The beach is down there. You can see the waves are starting to come in a little bit more strongly. Mandatory evacuations are underway right now in Atlantic and Cape May counties.
We'll have the latest track when we come back.
Action News is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Get more choice, more control, more HD. Switch to Xfinity today. Call 1-800-XFINITY to learn more.
Action News is helping you brace for Irene. This is a live look from Atlantic City, one of several shore points preparing for a possible direct hit tomorrow.
Good morning to you. 5:30 now on this Friday, August 26th.
I'm Matt O'Donnell along with Tamala Edwards. We have complete team coverage for you this morning as preparations are underway for Hurricane Irene.
Chad Perdelli is down in Cape May County where mandatory evacuations will start at 8 o'clock this morning. Matt Pellman is keeping an eye on roads in that area across Atlantic City. And also let's go check in on Irene's path with meteorologist Karen Rogers. Good morning.
Good morning. And while you were sleeping, things have changed slightly. And we're going to show you that right now. We have a hurricane warning in effect for the entire South Jersey area, for Delaware, including Philadelphia. Center City, Philadelphia now under a hurricane warning, a tropical storm warning now for those northwestern suburbs. So that is an upgrade from yesterday, even though the winds have dropped slightly with Hurricane Irene. Now a Category 2, but a strong Category 2 hurricane at 110 miles an hour. If it moves to 111, it becomes a Cat 3 again. So you can see it's only wobbling slightly in intensity, but a massive storm now moving to the north. It has taken that turn to the north at 14 miles an hour, 420 miles south-southwest of Cape Hatteras. So here is the latest track right now, showing Irene gaining strength a bit as it encounters the waters, the warm waters of the Atlantic, and will become a Cat 3 at this point as it moves just over the Outer Banks or slightly west of that at 2 p.m. on Saturday, with winds sustained about 120 miles an hour. And the change for us is ever so slight. It still looks like a Category 2 hurricane. Sunday at 2 a.m. when we feel the full force of Irene as it skirts just by the coastline and looks to make landfall in Long Island. be watching this closely. I'll have more on the exact impacts and flooding concerns for us, Matt, coming up in the AccuWeather forecast.
Alrighty, Karen, definitely time to get out of Dodge for those people that are down the shore, and we saw a lot of them doing that last evening. Bridges from the shore points like Sea Isle City, Stone Harbor, Avalon, the Wildwoods over to the mainland were crowded. The Parkway northbound and the AC Expressway westbound were also busy, and they will be again today. All those routes that are normally busy on Friday afternoons with southbound traffic headed toward the shore points are going to be busy with northwesterly traffic this afternoon headed back home away from those shore points. But to help you out with the evacuations, we do have the tolls. They're going to be lifted along the Garden State Parkway south of the Raritan River starting at 8 o'clock this morning. Same with tolls on the AC Expressway, and no delays so far on the 42 freeway or the New Jersey Turnpike. Matt?
Thank you, Matt. And speaking of New Jersey, this just in. The state is now under a hurricane warning, meaning hurricane conditions should arrive in New Jersey within 36 hours. Emergency officials want everyone along the South Jersey coast to get out. Both New Jersey and Delaware are under states of emergency. Delaware Governor Jack Markell is telling visitors to all coastal areas to evacuate immediately. Mandatory evacuations are already in place for the barrier islands in Cape May County, New Jersey. Inland communities in Cape May County must evacuate at 8 a.m. All of Atlantic County is under a voluntary evacuation, but residents east of Route 9 are under a mandatory evacuation starting at 6 a.m., less than a half hour. This is a live picture for you. Atlantic City, New Jersey, the shoreline, not seeing any waves just yet. Probably to see that sometime beginning tomorrow. But just to give you a sense of how rare this is and how extraordinary this is, the last time New Jersey saw direct hits from hurricanes, Cape May, nearly 200 years ago. Atlantic City, 1903.
In fact, Karen has been saying nobody who's listening to her has experienced anything like this. Take it seriously in a very different way than anything we've ever seen before. And before this hurricane hits Atlantic City, Irene is expected to pass over Cape May County. That is where reporter Chad Pradelli is standing by. Let's check in with him now. Good morning, Chad.
Hi, Tam. We have not seen an evacuation order like the one we have here in Cape May County since 1985 when Hurricane Gloria was approaching. And officials here warned that Irene is an extreme threat. People need to get out and get out soon. A steady stream of traffic flowed along the Garden State Parkway last night, fleeing the shore points and the impending arrival of Irene. Those who decide to stay do so at their own peril. The consequences could be deadly.
If they don't go, okay, what we would like for them is take a 3x5 card, okay, with an indelible ink pen, write their name, their address, their social security number, the next of kin, and their telephone number of the next of kin. Put it in their left shoe. Don't wear flip-flops or loafers. Wear a tie shoe so we know how to identify you.
The barrier islands here will likely be underwater once the storm hits. Record high tides are expected. Residents have been busy boarding up their homes and businesses, trying to protect what they can from the menacing Irene.
We got to be prepared.
This is for real.
Definitely, yeah, for real. We got to be prepared. Yeah. We're covering up whatever the expensive ones are.
Out of everything.
At times, gas has been scarce. 2 gas stations on 9th Street in Ocean City ran out last night from the surge in demand. Some residents had to wait for tankers to arrive.
Right now, we just can't keep up with the amount of people.
Everybody's trying to get out.
It's too many people.
Atlantic City is expected to shut down its casinos. Widespread power outages are expected, and repairs could take days.
I mean, we have sandbags at the ready. We have plywood in case we need that. And, we watch the storm reports and make decisions on what we have to do.
People should not let their guard down by any means. We have never experienced a landfalling hurricane. This is not going to go out to sea. This one is going to impact our area significantly. We are going to have some significant damage done to our area.
And give yourself plenty of time if you're planning to evacuate, because officials say 1.2 million people could be involved when this thing is over. I'm live in Cape May. Chad Pradelli, Channel 6 Action News.
Chad, thank you for that. And the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management has been tracking Irene's path up the East Coast. Governor Chris Christie is urging everyone to take this storm seriously.
We have enough time to be prepared. And so people need to utilize the time over the next 24 to 36 hours in an efficient, effective way. Do not leave things until the last minute. Get ready now for what will be coming on Saturday.
This is a look at some of the key routes that officials suggest you use to get out of Cape May County. We've posted routes out of Atlantic and Ocean counties as well online. It's all there at 6abc.com. And North Carolina's Outer Banks are already starting to feel the effects of Hurricane Irene. Yesterday in Wrightsville Beach, the surf was already showing signs of the things that are coming. Some people decided to make the most of it and enjoy one last day in the sun. We saw that boats were either moved out of the water in harm's way altogether or securely moored. Irene is expected to be a monstrous Category 3 storm when it thrashes the North Carolina coastline.
5:37 on the clock. The mayor of New York City is telling millions of residents there to pack a bag and be prepared to evacuate. No decision yet, though. The nation's biggest city has not seen a hurricane in decades. It has been hit by only 5 hurricanes since 1851. Forecasters say the center of the storm could cut straight through Manhattan. Officials are urging people living in flood-prone areas of the city and along the shore areas of Long Island to make plans to sit out the storm somewhere else, farther inland. New York's subway system will be closed this weekend, and Amtrak has canceled most trains traveling south of Washington, D.C. starting today. Transit authorities in New York made the decision because Irene could cause flooding throughout the underground system. And again, the entire city is on standby for a possible evacuation. Irene has also forced the postponement of the dedication of the new Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington. The earthquake earlier this week led officials to move the ceremony out of the damaged National Cathedral. Now a hurricane's approach has postponed it altogether.
Karen's been tracking the storm minute by minute, and she's got the very latest. Good morning.
My sister lives in South Carolina. She's weathered many of these hurricanes, and I asked her, what would be the thing that you would tell people here since you've experienced it so many times? She says it's to not watch just the exact track, because it can make a little move here, a little move here. So today we're saying, well, just this morning, it's just a little bit to the east, but that really doesn't change the forecast for us and the intensity that we're going to feel from this storm. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker 6 Live radar right now. We are dry in the region. You may feel a shower later today or a thunderstorm. That's not Irene. That's a cold front that's sort of stalled near our area. We're really not going to feel Irene's effects until later Saturday into Sunday. Let's take a look at your exclusive AccuWeather lineup, all the things that we're going to be talking about. But we want to start with this because it doesn't happen very often. We have a hurricane warning for all the counties in New Jersey in our area and Delaware, and including Philadelphia. A tropical storm warning for the northwestern suburbs right now. So we are going to experience hurricane force winds within the next 36 hours. Now the winds have dropped just slightly from this morning here. So now 110 miles an hour. Overnight it was 115. So it's only a slight drop, but it has now made it a Category 2 hurricane, a strong one and really a massive storm. Winds moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. So it's taken that jog to the north, 420 miles south-southwest of Cape Hatteras. The latest track right now has it a strong Category 2 or Category 3 at 120 mile an hour winds 2 p.m. Saturday as it crosses over the Outer Banks of North Carolina, but really maintains its strength. It looks to be about a Category 2 when it approaches our region at Sunday at 2 a.m. So late Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll see the worst of it. But this current track has it just skirting right by us or scraping by the coastline before going towards Long Island as a Category 2 and then dissipating to a tropical storm by Monday. So Saturday night into Sunday, the worst for us. And this latest track has it ever so close to our coastline, but perhaps not hitting it directly. However, you got to watch the entire cone, not just this exact track. That can wobble a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. So we're watching this closely. As it stands now, even if you're on I-95, the northwestern suburbs, 5 to 10 inches of rain, that's going to have a massive impact for us. Serious flooding with winds at 50 to 70 mile an hour gusts. Eastern New Jersey, 5 to 10 inches of rain, 70 to 100 mile an hour gusts. Will be closer to that center. And coastal flooding looks definite. Prepare now by moving from flooded areas. Get flashlights, batteries, bottled water, dry food, battery-powered radio, or use your iPad if you can. Make it fully charged beforehand. And the reason is because we could see long-term power outages because of the saturated ground that we have to deal with. It's going to be so easy for the trees and the power lines to topple down. Partly sunny skies today, 87 degrees for your highs. It's basically a dry day. A little shower, thunderstorm here is not going to be that big of a deal for us. The rain develops from Irene. We may start to see some showers earlier and then especially afternoon, but it's Saturday night into Sundays when you get the worst of it. When we're talking about Irene's rain and winds, 78 on Sunday. Monday, sunny and breezy, 80 degrees. Tuesday, sunny and warm and 86. Wednesday, sunshine and 84. Thursday, we'll see partly sunny skies and 80 degrees for your high. So now is the time, and that's why we've got a hurricane warning in the area. National Weather Service trying to say, all right, guys, let's take this seriously, and we'll be here around the clock to help you through it.
All right, Karen, thanks so much. 542. We have a live picture showing you that people are taking this very seriously. This is in Atlantic County, New Jersey, Atlantic City to be exact, and this is a condominium tower right along the beach, and we've spotted some people with some bags and stuff getting into their cars. Looks like they're getting out. They're supposed to be leaving beginning 6 a.m. this morning, less than half an hour from now. Matt?
It is time, Matt, and for people headed out on I-95 here in Bucks County this morning, the ride looks great. Headlights are coming southbound toward Woodhaven Road, but we've got some issues other than evacuation issues to talk about on the traffic front. We'll do that after the break.
All right, and as we're telling everybody to get out of harm's way, we're going to run down the things you should keep with you as Irene approaches, especially if you or someone you know has serious medical needs. That's when Action News returns.
545, and people along the Outer Banks of North Carolina say the waves are getting larger, and you can see them here on a live picture from Atlantic Beach. This could be the first stop in Hurricane Irene's charge up the East Coast, and in fact, it could make 4 direct hits. Outer Banks, Sussex County, Delaware, Cape May County, New Jersey, and then possibly New York City or Long Island.
Wow, places that really never anticipate a hurricane.
Large population centers.
Let's go on over to Matt Pellman. He's talking about traffic at this hour. Good morning.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I actually have a flight scheduled out of town tonight, Matt and Tam, and I got an email overnight for anyone flying out this weekend. They said you fly today or else you wait until Monday or Tuesday.
Sure.
If you have a flight scheduled tomorrow or Sunday, they'll waive the change fees in most cases. You change your flight to either today or else early next week, because a lot of flights are not going to be running up and down the eastern seaboard over the weekend. Meanwhile, we are watching some other issues on the traffic front this morning, including a fire out here on the main line in Wayne blocking Lancaster Avenue, Route 30 near Bloomingdale Avenue. The fire was overnight at the Chili's, the one right next to Manella's Diner. So instead of Lancaster Avenue, maybe use Conestoga Road to get around that closure this morning. And in Horsham Township, there was a multi-vehicle wreck that took down a tree and some wires. That's closing Lime Kiln Pike this morning, 152, just for a short stretch between Babylon Road and Tennis Avenue. Maybe stick with Horsham Road, Welsh Road, or you could even stay over on 611 to get around that Lime Kiln Pike closure this morning. Meanwhile, we've got construction scheduled all weekend here in Tacony, closing State Road. They're working on the ramps again at 95. Maybe use Torresdale Avenue as your alternate. And I want to take you to Chad's Ford Delco 202 at Baltimore Pike. You see a little bit of low fog, but the traffic's moving fine through the intersection. Tam?
All right. Thank you, Matt. Hurricane Irene is promising to be the worst storm to hit our area since Floyd, and people in Delaware County are still smarting from that disaster 12 years later. Delaware County learned a bitter lesson from Hurricane Floyd. 12 years ago, Darby Borough was mostly underwater. Darby Creek overflowed its banks, damaging 400 homes and businesses. You're taking a look now at Chestnut Street today. Over 40 homes along here were bought and leveled by the government.
The water came right through their living rooms. The water just went right through, came right up the street here. It was a disaster. I've never seen anything like it.
Regina Trout's home is on high ground across the street from that, but the floodwaters of Floyd reached all the way to the last step before her front door. Across the street, only rooftops were visible. Besides leveling homes, Delaware County has rebuilt bridges to try to prevent the worst of the flooding.
If you don't already have an emergency readiness pack, now might be the time to get one. It should include bottled water and non-perishable foods, a portable radio, flashlight, and extra batteries for those devices, a first aid kit, and any medications you might need. For those who have purchased generators thinking they might lose electricity, experts have an important reminder.
people forget that these generators burn fossil fuel, therefore they give off carbon monoxide. And if you put it in a closed space, i.e. inside your house, it accumulates, and that gas can kill you, and you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it.
I know gas lines have been long yesterday and probably this morning, but you should gas up your car, get some cash, and pack up your important documents and identification. We have posted more tips in an American Red Cross checklist at 6abc.com. We'll be right back.
5:51 now. Evacuation's about to start in about 10 minutes in Atlantic County. And of course, Karen has her eye on all things Irene.
And for those people evacuating, it's kind of hard to say go this way and not that way because all routes are going to be busy headed away from the shore.
There are not many of them.
That's true, exactly, and they will all be busy. But the good news this morning is you're not dealing with jams just yet, just heavier than normal volume. And those tolls will be lifted to aid in the evacuations on the Garden State Parkway south of the Raritan River, as well as on the AC Expressway. That starts at 8 o'clock. Otherwise, mass transit's on time so far this morning, but Amtrak trains south of D.C. pretty much all canceled already. Karen?
Hurricane Irene expected to continue to wobble in strength between a strong Category 2 and a Category 3 hurricane, currently a Category 2 at 110 miles an hour. Watching it closely and looking at the latest spaghetti model plots, you're used to seeing these, I think, now by this point. We can see a couple of the outliers have it going into New Jersey and even Philadelphia, but most of the tracks now have it just scraping right along the coastline here. So it has shifted slightly to the east in the morning hours. High today. It's a warm and humid day. Rain develops tomorrow, could start early, but the intense rain doesn't come until late Saturday night into Sunday. That's when we feel the full force of Irene, Matt.
Thank you, Karen. If you were planning to leave the Jersey Shore by using the Cape May Lewis ferry, make new plans. Service on the line that crosses the Delaware Bay has been suspended. That remains in effect through Sunday. Like New Jersey, the state of Delaware is under a state of emergency. These are the coastal areas that are required to evacuate as of 6 p.m. last night. So you got to get out now. Fenwick Island, South Bethany, Dewey Beach, Rehoboth Beach, Henlopen Acres, Lewis, and Slaughter Beach. Governor Jack Markell may order further mandatory evacuations for residents today. Residents are advised to board windows and sandbag their homes before they leave. Shelters will open later this morning. 1,600 Delaware National Guard troops have been activated just in case. We'll be right back.
Hard rock, heavy metal, and really funky jazz, a Philadelphia fave back to his roots in classic pop by Gary.
Fish that walk, we got you covered. Pets, some of them scary.
Sure, we changed the lineup because of someone named Irene, but we still have our 6 fun things all safely on your screen.
Here we go. Numero uno. He's toured the world, but he's never far from his Philly roots. Bill Cosby has acted, lectured, still known for his comedy, though, best known. He does his stand-up routines in 2 shows Sunday at American Music Theater in Lancaster.
In a metal mood, Uproar Festival brings a chain of bands to Susquehanna Bank Center this afternoon and evening.
He's been nominated for all sorts of awards. Boney James has fans by the millions, and he brings his unique jazz to the Keswick Theater tomorrow night. He ruled the record charts in the 60s. Gary Puckett sings his hits tomorrow night at the Landis Theater in Vineland.
Not 1, but 2 pet shows at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center this weekend. Tomorrow only the Super Reptile Expo offers the exotic. Okay.
We know those are all people, by the way. Tomorrow and Sunday, there's also the All-Breed Cat Show. I know the video's all mixed up, but you got to believe us. There's the reptiles right there. Hey, they're all exotic. Check them out.
And don't forget the fish, even though we're looking at lizards and cats. The Phillies host the Florida Marlins this weekend. They play Sunday's game tomorrow as part of a day-night doubleheader. There we go. There's some baseball. They're going to get it in tomorrow ahead of the storm.
Yeah, canceled on Sunday. All right, that's your 6 fun things. 5:57 right now, and we're following breaking news at 6. We'll bring you a brand new video of a big business fire on the main line.
And our team coverage of Hurricane Irene continues. You're taking a live look here down in Atlantic County. Mandatory evacuations in parts of Cape May and Atlantic County start today. More on hurricane preps at the shore and points west when Action News returns.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Matt O'Donnell, Tamala Edwards, Karen Rogers, and meteorologist David Murphy.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on this Friday, August 26th, and you know what's happening. It's about Irene.
Yeah, the hurricane is set to slam into the East Coast not once, but possibly 4 times. People along the shoreline are not taking chances. The storm continues to barrel north, packing winds and rains that could bring heavy damage and flooding.
And the exodus has already begun. Mandatory evacuations along the Jersey Shore go into effect this morning. In fact, right now they just kicked off in Atlantic County east of Route 9.
And we'll have details on that in a moment. We have Matt Pellman watching those roads, those evacuation routes, and David is off. Meteorologist Karen Rogers is tracking Irene. Good morning to you both.
Feels like we just keep getting sucker punched by the weather, Karen.
Yeah, we do. And this is a major storm that we are following that could have historic impacts for us. Let's go right now to the hurricane warning now in effect. So this is an update as of 5:15 this morning. The National Weather Service has upgraded this to a hurricane warning throughout New Jersey and Delaware, even Philadelphia. This means we will experience hurricane force winds within the next 36 hours, a tropical storm warning for areas in the northwest suburbs, where we continue to see Hurricane Irene moving strongly at 110 miles an hour, officially now a Category 2 hurricane, so that's a change from last night. The model tracks slightly to the east at this point. These are the spaghetti plots you're kind of used to seeing, while a couple of outlying plots have it going to the west. Most now have it skirting right by the coastline now, so that is a slight change from overnight. But the impacts are severe. The shore effects still 5 to 10 inches of rain, 70 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts. This is again late Saturday and Sunday. Storm surge 3 to 6 feet, beach erosion, major flooding. Of course, not just at the shore, though. We're going to talk more about what everyone can experience from this and your forecast for today and the next 7 days coming up in a couple minutes, Matt.
Sounds like it's going to be a rough experience, that's for sure. Good morning to you, Karen. Evacuations are underway, and that means shore routes are going to be busy throughout the day today. They were busy last evening. Bridges headed inland from the shore points, as well as the northbound side of the Parkway. 83, 47 were all crowded last evening, and they will be again today. Good rule of thumb is any route that's normally busy on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening with people headed home from the shore will be very crowded today. They are trying to help you out a little bit with your evacuations. They are lifting tolls starting at 8 o'clock this morning on the Garden State Parkway south of the Raritan River, as well as on the AC Expressway. But on that AC Expressway westbound, we still have that construction zone headed toward the Egg Harbor tolls, so that will still clog things up. Meanwhile, back here in Pennsylvania in the Flourtown area along 309, you see some fog out here this morning by Paper Mill Road. We're also watching a crash with a downed tree and some downed wires here in Horsham Township, Montgomery County, blocking Limekiln Pike between Babylon Road and Tennis Avenue. Maybe use Horsham Road or else Welsh Road to get around that. And out on the main line in Wayne, we still have the fire at the Chili's closing Lancaster Avenue, Conestoga Road. Get you around that closure. Matt?
All right, Matt, thank you. A hurricane warning was posted for New Jersey just about an hour ago. That means hurricane conditions will arrive within 36 hours. PSE&G, PECO, and other utilities are bracing for 100-mile-an-hour winds that have the potential to knock out power to millions. Irene's first expected target, North Carolina, which is already seeing heightened waves. Irene could pack 115-mile-an-hour winds when it strikes first, possibly somewhere along the Outer Banks of North Carolina tomorrow night. 140,000 tourists are fleeing the slender beaches. Officials have ordered a mandatory evacuation, telling all residents to get to the mainland now. Anyone who stays should not expect emergency personnel to help them. Gas stations in the area are running out of gas. ATMs are short on cash. And one woman, Melissa Cook, may have to cancel her wedding.
The TV showed the mandatory evacuation, and I burst into tears.
So everything is up in the air.
Everything. I mean, everything from a caterer to a cake. All these details I'd been working on in this wedding I had planned and dreamed about.
Irene has already battered the Bahamas. A last stop before heading to the East Coast. It pummeled the resort islands with 115-mile-an-hour winds. The hurricane knocked down trees, sank boats, and damaged buildings. A number of cruise ships have steamed their way out of the Bahamas already to safe harbors in Florida.
Both public officials and emergency management personnel have issued a no-nonsense warning ahead of Hurricane Irene. Both New Jersey and Delaware are under states of emergency. In Delaware, Governor Jack Markell is telling visitors to all coastal areas to get out immediately. In Atlantic County, a mandatory evacuation order begins at 6 a.m., which is just passed. It's going on right now for barrier islands and the mainland communities east of Route 9. And in Cape May County, a mandatory evacuation order will kick in about 2 hours starting at 8 a.m. And that is where we find Chad Perdelli. He's live in Cape May with more. Good morning, Chad.
Hi, Tam. For many residents, the trek has already begun. Others will begin doing so today. Officials say once these evacuations are over, 1.2 million people could be involved. Residents have been boarding up their homes, making last-ditch efforts to save what they can before heading out of Cape May County and other shore points.
We got to be prepared.
This is for real.
Definitely, yeah, for real. We got to be prepared. Yeah. We're covering up whatever the expensive ones are.
Last night, a steady stream of traffic headed north on the Garden State Parkway. Cape May County and Long Beach Island in Ocean County are under an order of evacuation beginning at 8 a.m. Since 6 a.m., Atlantic County ordered a mandatory evacuation of its barrier islands and mainline communities east of Route 9.
Out of everything.
At two gas stations on 9th Street in Ocean City, there were so many people trying to get gas to leave that they ran out temporarily until tankers could bring more.
We need some gas to leave here.
So far, you only have $1.
Yes,
well,
but
it's $1.72. Barely moving at all.
It's $1.72 now. It's okay.
Yeah.
we have never seen such a craze. We should have left in the morning.
Officials warn those willing to ride Irene out do so at their own peril, and people will be risking their lives.
People should not let their guard down by any means. We have never experienced a landfalling hurricane. This is not going to go out to sea. This one is going to impact our area significantly. We are going to have some significant damage done to our area.
And if you're heading out today, expect some traffic. Give yourself plenty of time. One thing to note, the Garden State Parkway will have the tolls open. They'll be free to move along traffic. But again, give yourself plenty of time. Officials are warning, get out and get out soon. If you plan on staying here, you do so at your own risk. A big problem if there's a widespread damage, officials say emergency personnel will likely not be able to get to you. I'm live in Cape May. Chad Perdelli, Channel 6 Action News. Back to you guys.
Chad, we don't want to see anybody hurt, so we really do hope they're taking all of this seriously. Thank you. Also going on to the city of Philadelphia, it's also preparing for Irene. The storm is shaping up to be the worst that the city has seen in 50 years. Because of that, Mayor Michael Nutter is advising all residents to be ready, especially people living in flood-prone areas.
If an evacuation order is given, please adhere to it. Leave quickly and as safely as possible. Don't wait for the flood water to rise. When that starts to happen, it is actually almost too late.
Mayor Nutter will decide today if he will declare a severe weather emergency. If that happens, shelters will be set up for residents. SEPTA officials are also making plans to keep lines running as long as they possibly can.
If your power gets knocked out, but you still get a cell signal, make sure you access 6abc.com through our smartphone and iPad apps. They will have the latest updates on Hurricane Irene. Plus, you can use Storm Tracker 6 to see where the rain bands are and where they are going. It's a very handy little app we have for you. You can find our apps in the iTunes and Android stores, and there's also a link right now at 6abc.com.
Let's turn now to meteorologist Karen Rogers to get the very latest. Good morning.
So rare to start the weathercast by saying that we have hurricane warnings in effect for Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Delaware Saturday into Sunday. That's the worst of it, Saturday night into Sunday. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker 6 Live radar, where we are dry right now. You may get a little shower later. It's kind of cloudy and misty out there. A little thunderstorm could pop up in one or two spots. That has nothing to do with Irene. Dry right now, but we could see something popping up a little later on with that frontal boundary draping through. Hurricane Irene currently 110 mile-an-hour winds. If it were 111, that would make it a Cat 3. So it is downgraded ever so slightly to a Cat 2, but this is a massive storm right now. Winds moving out of the north, so the movement out of the north that has taken that turn to 14 miles an hour, about 420 miles south-southwest of Cape Hatteras. We watch this track closely. It looks as if it's going to intensify again just a bit as it goes over the warmer waters of the Atlantic, so a Cat 3 hurricane by Saturday 2 p.m. at 120 mile-an-hour winds as it hits the outer banks of North Carolina or just west of that. But as we look a little closer to our region, it looks like it'll get very close to our region, if not a direct impact. By Sunday, 2 a.m., 100 mile-an-hour winds, maintaining its Category 2 status. as it crosses just or scrapes by our coastline right here and heads toward Long Island at a Category 2 hurricane before dissipating to a tropical storm by Monday. Again, the worst of this is Saturday into Sunday, and the latest model has this coming just a little bit east. If you remember yesterday, we were saying, well, it looks like it'll hit Sussex, Delaware. It still may, but the current track has it just a little bit to the east, scraping right by us right there, still allowing us to feel the hurricane force winds. So that's going to cause the problems with the winds, the power lines, the flooding. All of that still stands. As it stands now in I-95 and northwest suburbs, still 5 to 10 inches of rain. We've already had the rainiest month on record. We don't need that rain. Serious flooding coming. 50 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts in eastern New Jersey along that coastline, also 5 to 10 inches, but 70 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts. Even if not a direct hit, you're going to feel those hurricane force winds. Coastal flooding as well as beach erosion. Flood watch over the entire region because major flooding expected. As you look at the wind gusts, we can see Saturday at 11:30 it starts to get pretty strong. We watch this by Saturday night into Sunday, the entire region at least 50 mile an hour wind gusts. That's as far as the chart goes. So we may be getting higher than that. We don't have the chart to show it to you. Partly sunny skies on Friday, 87 degrees for your high today. Chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Rain develops tomorrow. Could start early, but the heaviest will be late Saturday into Sunday. Sunday's when you really feel the full force of Irene's rain and wind, 78 degrees, especially early Sunday, easing up in the afternoon and evening. Monday, sunny and breezy. It's quiet and 80. We'll need that to clean up. Tuesday, sunny and warm and 86. Wednesday, a nice streak of weather, sunshine and 84. Thursday, partly sunny skies. We'll see clouds and sun. Looks dry and 80 for your high. So we will be here around the clock to help you through it.
Of course.
Sure will.
Thank you, Karen.
Always expect that. Thanks, Karen. 6:12 now. We're following breaking news from the main line. We'll have brand new video of a big business fire just ahead.
And our coverage of Hurricane Irene continues. You're taking a live look now in Atlantic City. This is where a mandatory evacuation went into effect just minutes ago. Matt.
Not a lot of water on the roadways this morning, Tam, but some light fog out there. Here along 202, though, in the Westchester area, the traffic is moving just fine with construction expected this weekend, depending on what the weather does. And there's a crash elsewhere on 202. Details on that are after the break.
And we'll have important information for Irene's impact on local college students. Action News is coming right back. .15. It's a little foggy here at Philadelphia International Airport. Could see some delays due to rain later today, but the big issue is Hurricane Irene. It's going to mess up flight travel here and across the country. And because of that, a lot of airlines are encouraging people to cancel their flights if they have them on Saturday or Sunday and changing them to a different day. And some of these airlines are waiving the fee that they charge to change your flights. So check with your airline if you are heading out. Maybe you can get a different flight some other day.
In fact, Matt Pellman, you said your airline told you leave tonight or just don't leave until next week. We won't take you.
Yes, I'm scheduled to leave tonight, so it's working out well for me. If you can, just take off another day of vacation. Yeah. Take off today, head out today, or else you're probably going to be waiting until Monday because a lot of flights are going to be canceled up and down the East Coast over the weekend because of the weather. Now, let's talk about some other non-weather related traffic issues, like a new crash here in the Doylestown area of Bucks County. It's closing 202 this morning between Burnt House Hill Road and Mill Road, so a couple alternates to get you around this accident scene would include Mechanicsville Road to the north or York Road 263 to the south. Meanwhile, I've got some more bad news for you Walt Whitman Bridge drivers. Eastbound side, you are now down a lane. The round-the-clock construction restrictions started at 5 o'clock this morning. It's lasting for 5 months. So we are expecting big delays on the eastbound side of the Walt Whitman Bridge, especially for shore travelers on Friday afternoons, although I think this afternoon we're not going to see a lot of shore traffic, at least hopefully not. Hopefully everybody's headed the other way. Now some good news for you. If you travel between Spring City and Royersford, you've probably been missing the Main Street Bridge over the past 6 weeks. That is scheduled to reopen this afternoon, but not open this morning, Matt. Lancaster Avenue here by the Chili's that caught fire overnight. Now you have more details on that.
In fact, Matt, that video is brand new, just came in. Heavy smoke and flames poured from the roof of this mainline Chili's restaurant overnight. The action cam was on the scene as firefighters worked to douse the multi-alarm blaze at the Chili's on the 300 block of West Lancaster Avenue in Radnor Township. Matt just mentioned no traffic there. The restaurant was heavily damaged in the fire, but no reports of injuries. More breaking news. A driver smashed right into a home in the Juniata Park section of Philadelphia overnight. It happened near O Street and Hunting Park Avenue. Police say the driver was coming around a curve, lost control, and crashed right into the house. The driver is in custody and being tested for possible DUI. No one was hurt in the accident. The foundation of the house, as you can see, was damaged.
Turning now to business, investors are holding their collective breaths as they await a speech from Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. He's set to speak at a conference for bankers in Wyoming later today. Investors have been speculating whether the Fed chief will announce any monetary stimulus measures, such as a major purchase of assets. Going on now to tech news, everyone's wondering what is next for Apple now that its iconic leader has stepped down as chief executive. Rob Nelson has the latest.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple after Steve Jobs. The company's new CEO wasted no time reassuring employees Apple is not going to change, Tim Cook said in a memo. Longtime Apple analyst Michael Gartenberg, speaking to ABC News via Skype, agrees the company will continue to do well without its guiding force.
Consumers aren't buying products because of Steve. They've never seen Steve. They've never heard Steve. They're buying products because the products are good products. They meet their needs.
However, Steve Jobs is not completely gone from Apple. It's expected he'll continue to weigh in on key decisions and make suggestions. As one analyst says, he'll be Apple's, quote, chief visionary. And another tech giant, Facebook, passed a milestone this summer. Google says the social network had 1 trillion views in June and 870 million unique visitors. Facebook also reached at least 47% of all web surfers, and those are just the people Google can track. The real numbers are likely to be even higher. And those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rob Nelson.
6:19 on the clock, and Shore residents are getting out of town before the storm hits.
The action cam is live in Cape May, New Jersey. Hundreds of thousands of people all across the Jersey Shore are fleeing from Hurricane Irene. Karen. Welcome back. You're taking a live look here at a condominium in Atlantic City where you see people loading up their vehicles and following this mandatory evacuation order there in Atlantic County for everybody east of Route 9 to please get out of Dodge before Hurricane Irene makes landfall. This will also be the case in Cape May County as of 8 o'clock this morning. In fact, we've got hurricane warnings now for Delaware, New Jersey, all the way up into Philadelphia, which means that we could see some conditions start within the next 36 hours. And they're also telling us the Jersey Shore could see water levels 3 to 6 feet above ground.
That is good to see, though. You see people leaving. They're heeding the warnings.
And you need to listen today.
That's what they need to do. The routes are going to be busy, and ugly Irene is already affecting us on the mass transit front. Starting today, trains on Amtrak south of D.C., pretty much all of them are canceled. Then we're going to see numerous other cancellations throughout the weekend. Also, another note for you SEPTA regional rail riders, new schedules take effect on Sunday. What's the latest, Karen?
Well, I want to show you the size of this storm. This is a massive storm with hurricane force winds stretching some 90 miles to the center. So a huge storm, even though officially downgraded to a Category 2 because it dropped just a couple of miles an hour. We're looking at hurricane warnings for Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Delaware, tropical storm warnings for the northwest suburbs right now. So continuing to watch that with the movement at 110 miles an hour. As we take a closer look at the track, the slight change today is that it's expected to approach our area Sunday at 2 a.m. So Sunday in the overnight hours approaching us as a Category 2. The current track has it just scraping by us, perhaps not exactly making landfall, but we're still going to feel the brunt of this storm with rain and wind, and that is the real concern for us that we continue to track, Tam.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Hurricane Irene's anticipated arrival has forced some local colleges and universities to alter those move-in plans for students. Temple's upperclassmen will move in this morning at 8 instead of on Sunday. Haverford College is also having students move in early, beginning at 9 o'clock this morning. At Rowan University, freshmen will report as scheduled tomorrow. Upperclassmen scheduled to move in on Sunday will now do so on Monday. The University of Delaware is postponing its move-in weekend until further notice.
Hurricane Irene is also having an impact on the Phillies. They have moved up Sunday's game with the Marlins. They will play it tomorrow as part of a day-night doubleheader. The 3-game series with Florida begins tonight at Citizens Bank Park.
And we're taking a live look now here at Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, where they are bracing for that storm Irene to come ashore sometime tonight into tomorrow. We have an overnight update on the strength of the storm, the path it will take, and some new warnings for us here across the tri-state area. That's coming up at 6:30.
Irene has forced the postponement of the dedication of the new Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington. No new date has been set for the ceremony, one of many impacts from the storm.
When Action News returns, we're going to get you updated on Hurricane Irene and its trek up the East Coast.
We have a live picture for you right now. This is Cape May County, New Jersey. Hopefully all these people that own these vehicles are getting out of there because the evacuation order begins very soon, 8 a.m. We'll have full coverage when we come back.
And we're also live in Atlantic County where evacuations are underway right now. Right now it looks beautiful as you look out over the sunrise, but that is going to change over the next 36 hours. We'll get a live update on the situation in Delaware as well when our team coverage continues.
Breaking news live on the Action Cam. Hurricane Irene is approaching. You see a live picture here of Atlantic City, New Jersey. These folks are at a condominium tower. They are preparing to heed the evacuation order to leave Atlantic City and other nearby communities beginning at 6 a.m. That was a half an hour ago.
And shortly on their heels by 8 o'clock will be Cape May County as our whole region braces and battens down for Irene. Good morning. It's 6:30 now on this Friday, August 26th.
Matt O'Donnell, Tamala Edwards. We got Matt Pellman doing traffic. We have Karen Rogers filling in for David, taking a look at Hurricane Irene. And Chad Perdelli will have a report later on from Cape May County. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, and we want to start with what is an upgrade for us in our region. Now, hurricane warnings in effect for Philadelphia, all of New Jersey counties along the coastline and inland, and Wilmington and Dover, Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, the entire area, a hurricane warning. Your northwest suburbs, you have a tropical storm warning. This goes into effect Saturday and Sunday, and that's when we'll really feel the effects from Hurricane Irene that we're watching closely. This is a slight change. As of 5 a.m. this morning, the winds of Hurricane Irene dropped from 115 miles an hour to 110 miles an hour. Not terribly significant, except that it makes it now a Category 2 hurricane instead of a Category 3. Winds moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. The latest spaghetti plots, the models as to where this hurricane is going to go. You see some of the outlying miles have it going into New Jersey and Philadelphia, but most of them have it skirting or scraping us right by the shoreline. And that would be late Saturday into Sunday at the shore, seeing 5 to 10 inches of rain, 70 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts, a storm surge of 3 to 6 feet, beach erosion, flooding. But it's not just the shore that needs to prepare for this. We're going to talk about how this affects the entire region, no matter where you live. Details coming up in your AccuWeather forecast, Matt.
Yikes, Karen. I'll tell you, we don't mean to be rude, but if you're down the shore, we want to say get out this morning. It is that time, and because of all the other people getting out and headed away from the shore points, the routes away are going to be busy this morning. That includes all the bridges from the islands over to the mainland, as well as all those routes that are normally very crowded on Sunday afternoons and Sunday evenings when people are headed home from the shore, including 47 northbound, 347 northbound, the Garden State Parkway northbound, the AC Expressway westbound, where we still have that construction approaching the Egg Harbor tolls. So we're going to really have a lineup of traffic trying to get through that construction zone, especially this afternoon and this evening. The good news is, though, they are lifting the tolls. You aren't going to have to pay them starting at 8 o'clock this morning on the AC Expressway and the Garden State Parkway south of the Raritan River. Meanwhile, this morning, a little further along here on the 42 freeway in Belmar, Camden County, you see a lot of headlights and a lot of fog, but better news in Montgomery County, where the crash that was closing Limekiln Pike is gone. However, here in Fort Washington on 309 near the Turnpike, also a lot of fog. So in addition to evacuations, we are seeing some traffic issues because of weather out there this morning. Matt?
Thank you, Matt. Back to New Jersey. It was placed under a hurricane warning about an hour ago. That means hurricane conditions should arrive within 36 hours. Emergency officials want everyone along the South Jersey coast to get out. Both New Jersey and Delaware are under states of emergency. Delaware Governor Jack Markell is telling visitors to all coastal areas there to evacuate immediately. Mandatory evacuations already in place for the barrier islands of Cape May County, New Jersey. Inland communities in Cape May County must evacuate at 8 a.m. All of Atlantic County is under a voluntary evacuation, but residents east of Route 9 are under a mandatory evacuation. That started at 6 a.m., a little more than a half hour ago. Here's a live picture in Atlantic City. Hope Joe the fisherman is planning on leaving Atlantic City very soon. Again, everyone was supposed to begin plans to get out of there by 6 a.m. We've seen other people in nearby condo communities along the beach getting out now. So again, everyone is supposed to leave Atlantic City right now.
Indeed, don't be caught fishing, be caught packing and getting out of town. Before it hits Atlantic City, Irene is expected to pass over Cape May County, and that is where we find our Chad Perdelli. He's standing by. Now that the daylight is up, what are you able to see there, Chad?
Yes, Tam. Cape May County has not seen an evacuation order like this one since 1985 when Hurricane Gloria was approaching. But officials warn Irene is a menacing storm. People need to leave and leave soon. A steady stream of traffic flowed along the Garden State Parkway last night, fleeing the shore points and the impending arrival of Irene. Those who decide to stay do so at their own peril. The consequences could be deadly.
If they don't go, okay, what we would like for them is take a 3x5 card, okay, with an indelible ink pen, write their name, their address, their social security number, the next of kin, and their telephone number of the next of kin. Put it in their left shoe. Don't wear flip-flops or loafers. Wear a tie shoe so we know how to identify you.
The barrier islands here will likely be underwater once the storm hits. Record high tides are expected. Residents have been busy boarding up their homes and businesses, trying to protect what they can from the menacing Irene.
We got to be prepared.
This is for real.
Definitely, yeah, for real. We got to be prepared. Yeah. We're covering up whatever the expensive ones are.
Out of everything.
At times, gas has been scarce. 2 gas stations on 9th Street in Ocean City ran out last night from the surge in demand. Some residents had to wait for tankers to arrive.
Right now, we just can't keep up with the amount of people.
Everybody's trying to get out.
It's too many people.
Atlantic City is expected to shut down its casinos. Widespread power outages are expected, and repairs could take days.
I mean, we have sandbags at the ready. We have plywood in case we need that. And, we watch the storm reports and make decisions on what we have to do.
People should not let their guard down by any means. We have never experienced a landfalling hurricane. This is not going to go out to sea. This one is going to impact our area significantly. We are going to have some significant damage done to our area.
And if you will be evacuating today, give yourself plenty of time. Traffic should be a bear, but one thing that should help, the tolls on the Garden State Parkway have been suspended, so that should help things move along at least a little bit. I'm live in Cape May. Chad Perdelli, Channel 6 Action News.
Chad, thank you for that. And the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management has been tracking Irene's path up the East Coast. Governor Chris Christie is urging everyone to take this storm seriously.
We have enough time to be prepared. And so people need to utilize the time over the next 24 to 36 hours in an efficient, effective way. Do not leave things until the last minute. Get ready now for what will be coming on Saturday.
This is a look at some key routes that officials suggest you use to get out of Cape May County. And we posted routes out of Atlantic and Ocean counties online at 6abc.com.
Time is now 6:37. We're going to check in with the state of Delaware right now, which will be the first state in our area to feel Irene's effects.
We are joined now on the phone by Delaware Governor Jack Markell. Governor, where do things stand right now with your preparations for Irene?
Well, we have 1,500 members of National Guard who are ready this morning. We have the entire state police on call. We've ordered a mandatory evacuation of visitors to our beach areas, but there's a pretty good likelihood that within a few hours I may be ordering a mandatory evacuation for everybody of the beach areas. And then closer to Philadelphia, we expect some very significant damage, and people should stay tuned to the news in terms of guidance from the emergency management community here in Delaware.
So, Governor, you have the beaches. You mentioned those. We also have those low-lying communities along the Delaware Bay, Newcastle, for instance. What do you expect to tell those folks over there in terms of whether they should get out or not?
Well, we sort of suggest at this point people ought to be ready to pack their bags. We'll have more to say probably at 11 o'clock, but absolutely correct. People in some of the low-lying areas could see storms and flooding, unlike anything that they've seen before. So there are folks who are a lot closer to Philadelphia, away from the beach, that could be very much impacted, and we urge people to please stay focused on the news.
All right, that's Governor Jack Markell there of Delaware. Governor, thank you for checking in with us, and we'll keep an eye on what you have to say at 11 o'clock this morning. Going on in North Carolina, its Outer Banks are already starting to feel these effects of Hurricane Irene. Big waves roared ashore in Wrightsville Beach overnight. Boats were either moved out of the water in harm's way altogether or securely moored. Irene is expected to be a monstrous Category 3 when it thrashes the North Carolina coastline.
Karen, you and David always say that the better portion to be hit from a hurricane is the northwestern quadrant, and that looks like what we'll be seeing with New Jersey.
At this point, that's what it looks like. If it continues to scrape right by us, we would not be in that northeastern quadrant. The northeastern quadrant is where you get the severe storm surge and the strongest of winds. Yet still, hurricane force winds in our region. So, you have to really prepare for that one. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker 6 Live radar. We are dry at the moment. Damp out there though, and fog, and you may be experiencing a shower or thunderstorm today, and that has nothing to do with Irene. We're not going to feel Irene until Saturday into Sunday. Today we still have a front stalled nearby, so it may be a bit damp here and there. Let's take a look at your exclusive AccuWeather lineup, all the things we're going to be talking about. I want to get right to Hurricane Irene. The winds sustained at 110 miles an hour. That's a slight change from overnight when we were 115. That does make it now a strong Category 2 instead of a Category 3. It has started to make that northward turn to 14 miles an hour. This is a massive storm. One of the reasons that the winds just slightly decreasing. It is just so large. This is the track that we expect. It looks like it'll gain even a bit more strength as it goes over the open waters and approaches North Carolina, and will likely be a Category 3 or strong Category 2 when it hits the Outer Banks or just west of them. This is Saturday, 2 p.m. 120 mile an hour sustained winds. And then as it approaches our region, just south of Delaware, 2 a.m. on Sunday, 100 mile an hour winds. That's a Category 2 hurricane we're talking about at our doorstep in the overnight hours on Sunday. And then the latest track has it scraping right by us, perhaps not making a direct hit here, but still a Category 2 hurricane as it goes into Long Island, and then a tropical storm by Monday at 2 a.m. We continue to watch this closely, and if you've been following this track, I want to show you this. This is again in the overnight hours on Sunday into Sunday afternoon, and you see that track is ever so slightly to the east. Yesterday we were talking about a track that was hitting Sussex to Delaware and then right about here in New Jersey. Now we're saying it may just scrape us by, but don't forget this entire area, see where the cone is? This entire area is going to see hurricane force winds. So that's the real problem there. You have to look within that cone. So as it stands now on I-95 north and west, if you think you're in the suburbs, you're okay. You're still getting 5 to 10 inches of rain, 50 to 70 mile an hour in wind gusts, serious flooding, and in eastern New Jersey along the coastline, 5 to 10 mile an hour, 5 to 10 inches of rain, 70 to 100 mile an hour wind gusts, coastal flooding, beach erosion, still storm surge, flood watch in effect the entire area. Late Saturday and Sunday, that's the worst of it. The problem is the ground is so saturated. We just had the wettest month we've ever had in Philadelphia. Now we're getting 10 inches of rain. Power lines are going to come down for long periods of time. Future wind gusts showing us right now. We can show you with this latest model at Sunday at midnight. We're already starting to see those 50 mile an hour winds start along the coastline, but watch as it reaches the entire area by 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. 50 plus mile an hour winds. So the latest and the hardest of it will be Saturday night into Sunday. Partly sunny skies today, 87 for your high with some showers and going on. Saturday, rain developing. That's when you start to feel Irene. The harder it gets will be the afternoon and evening hours, 80 degrees for your high. And then Sunday is the main effects from Irene with wind and rain, 78 for your high. We'll still see flooding on Monday, but it'll be dry for the cleanup. Sunny and breezy and 80. We get a break in the weather after this to deal with everything. Tuesday, sunny and warm and 86. Wednesday, sunshine and 84. Thursday, partly sunny skies and 80. We'll be here around the clock to help you out.
Okay.
And a lot of people could lose power if you do have that situation, but you still have cell phone service. You need to use our apps that we have for you that link you to 6abc.com for your smartphone or your iPad. We will update them just as often as 6abc.com. You can download them through the app stores, or there's a link on 6abc.com.
It's 6:43 now, and our coverage of Hurricane Irene will continue in just a moment. Let's show you a live look in Atlantic City at a condominium there where people are packing up and moving out. Mandatory evacuations underway there now.
And evacuations were already in force for the beaches in Cape May County. This is a live picture in Cape May itself. You see the lighthouse way off in the distance, and the waves will continue to churn up as Irene approaches. Matt.
So, Matt, we have heavier than normal traffic headed away from the shore points, and now some building traffic here on 422 in Montgomery County on the eastbound side by Route 29 and again at Route 23. Also, several accidents are giving us closures this morning. I'll have details on those after the break.
Plus, a look back at the last hurricane to have a major impact on our region. Yeah, Floyd, you remember that one. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're taking a live look here via satellite. This is Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, where they were supposed to be evacuated as of yesterday, but you see some surfers in the water. On one hand, we know that hurricanes bring great waves, and that's probably what most of them are after, but not smart given what's expected to come ashore by tonight there in North Carolina. Karen Rogers warning us that what we're expected to see, nobody alive has seen. We haven't seen one like this in a couple hundred years.
Matt, I don't know how these people are going to get out of there. You know, there's only one way out of the Outer Banks from Kill Devil Hills.
And it is going to be congested, to say the least, although hopefully a lot of people have gotten out already. You got to feel bad, too, Matt and Tam, for all the business owners along the beaches. This is such a big weekend, the one before Labor Day for them. But unfortunately, Irene is headed here, so the traffic is headed away. So we know this morning that those shore routes are going to be very busy. Here are a couple things you might not know. A couple accident scenes. There's one here on 202 in Bucks County in the Doylestown area, and it's all shut down between Burnt House Hill Road and Mill Road. So maybe stick with Mechanicsville Road or York Road 263 to the south as alternates. We also have a new crash in Chester County, East Nantmeal Township along 401 at Moores Road, and in Wayne along the main line because of the big fire overnight at the Chili's. Lancaster Avenue is still blocked, so Conestoga Road gets you around that. Meanwhile, on the Schuylkill here close to the Conjoncton Curve, some westbound taillights headed toward the Blue Route, but otherwise things aren't too bad on 76 so far on this Friday morning. Matt?
All right, Matt, thank you. We have some breaking news to pass along to you right now. There's been a bomb blast in Nigeria, specifically in its capital of Abuja. And as a result, the UN building in Abuja, part of it, a wing, was completely leveled. The U.S. Embassy is nearby. No word if this was a terrorist attack, but I'm sure that's on everyone's minds right now. There are many feared dead. Once again, a bomb blast at the UN building in Abuja, which is the capital of Nigeria. More coming up on Good Morning America.
And back in this region, back to Irene, our big story. It's promising to be the worst storm to hit our area since Floyd, and people in Delaware County are still smarting from Floyd, still here 12 years later. Delaware County learned a bitter lesson from that hurricane. 12 years ago, Darby Borough was mostly underwater. Darby Creek overflowed its banks, damaging 400 homes and businesses. Now we'll show you a look at Chestnut Street today. Over 40 homes along that area were bought and leveled by the government.
The water came right through their living rooms. The water just went right through, came right up the street here. It was a disaster. I've never seen anything like it.
Regina Trout's home is on high ground across the street, but the floodwaters of Floyd actually reached all the way to the last step before her front door. Across the street, only rooftops were visible. Besides leveling homes, Delaware County has rebuilt bridges to try to prevent the worst of the flooding.
Just about 6:50, and we have a live picture, as we have throughout the morning, Atlantic City, New Jersey, where evacuations are underway. We'll be right back. 6:52, Eagles fans should feel a little better about the team this morning. Running back Ronnie Brown looked pretty good, especially here scoring their first touchdown against the Browns last night. Quarterback Michael Vick got hit a lot, but still managed to run another score in for a touchdown right here. As for the first team defense, they didn't give up any points. Birds win 24-14. Here's Jeff Skaversky with more.
A week after throwing 3 interceptions, Michael Vick leads the Eagles on 3 scoring drives, and the starters on defense pitch a shutout in the first half. Yeah, what a difference a week makes. The Eagles feel much better after beating the Browns.
It felt good to get back out and just play with poise and play with confidence. And, you know, like I said, I always make good decisions with the football, and last week was very uncharacteristic of me.
We're just trying to find a groove right now, especially last week after, a couple of interceptions that Mike threw. So we just kind of want to keep it simple for ourselves, make it easy, quick reads, and I think that's what we're doing.
If this was our last time being out on the field, I think it was good to end this way and then progress for the next 2 weeks before St. Louis.
Well, the biggest cause for concern, the offensive line. Rookie center Jason Kelsey said Michael Vick got hit way too much, it's unacceptable, and needs to get corrected. Well, they have just a little more than 2 weeks before the start start of the regular season. At the link, Jeff Skaversky, Channel 6 Action News.
Top story at 6:56, Hurricane Irene. A live picture from Atlantic City where mandatory evacuations are enforced right now. In fact, for all residents of Atlantic County east of Route 9. Cape May County has a countywide mandatory evacuation order effective at 8 a.m.
All right, Matt, Karen.
Busy traffic headed away from the shore and lots of fog here on 42. We're in the soup, Karen.
Hurricane warnings in effect even in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Delaware. Saturday and Sunday, that's the worst of it. The new track has it just scraping our coastline, but at a Category 2 hurricane. This would be Sunday morning. In the overnight hours into Sunday morning, we could expect major flooding and long-term power outages.
All right, GMA is next. We're back with updates in 30, and keep it on 6ABC and 6ABC.com.
Irene, stay with 6ABC Action News. Action News Traffic is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. When you need a boost, you can throw back a canned energy drink, or you can enjoy the smooth, flavorful taste of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It's the boost you need with a flavor that's made Dunkin' Coffee America's favorite. America runs on Dunkin' Coffee. If you see breaking news happen, call the Action News tip line from your cell phone at pound 6ABC, or contact Action News anytime at 6abc.com. AccuWeather is sponsored by PGW, providing you with clean energy solutions for 175 years. Stay safe this season and call 811 before you dig. Action News Traffic is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. When you need a boost, you can throw back a canned energy drink, or you can enjoy the smooth, flavorful taste of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It's the boost you need with a flavor that's made Dunkin' Coffee America's favorite. America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
It's time to huddle up. We are back.
High School Huddle returns for an all-new season of gridiron action.
We want to hear from you.
Like us on Facebook and be a part of the show. 6ABC's High School Huddle, presented by GMC, kicks off September 2nd.
Find out something new and delicious every day on The Chew.
Everybody's making their own jams and jellies again. I love it.
For more fun, give everybody a different plate.
ABC's The Chew. Weekdays coming Monday, September 26th, only on ABC.
Weekend mornings with Walter Perez, only on Action News. Action News Market Watch is brought to you by Fred Beans Hyundai. It's Sonata-thon at Fred Beans Hyundai. Online at fredbeans.com. Action News Traffic is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. When you need a boost, you can throw back a canned energy drink, or you can enjoy the smooth, flavorful taste of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It's the boost you need with a flavor that's made Dunkin' Coffee America's favorite. America runs on Dunkin' Coffee. Tech Bites is brought to you by Strayer University. Don't just take a few courses. Change the course of your life. Classes start October 3rd. Go to degree.strayer.edu. Follow 6ABC Fun Stuff on Twitter for cool deals, contests, and more. Get the Action News forecast in your car and wherever you listen to radio on Philly's Adult Mix, 105.3 WDAS-FM. Get the Action News app for your mobile device. Search 6ABC. New season of Rachel Ray, only on 6ABC. Weekday mornings, don't miss the 6 a.m. Action News Market Watch Report, sponsored by Fred Beans Hyundai in Doylestown. Fred Beans is everything automotive. Get to know Beans. Visit fredbeans.com today.